Hello there and welcome back to another quick draw. I'm back. Oh dear, oh dear. This is about the 5th time I've tried recording this. Never mind. It is what it is. Oh man. I've just had to literally... Oh, the audio. I don't know what's been going on lately. But yeah, made me sound like... Did anybody watch The Weakest Link? The Doctor Who episode of The Weakest Link with the android? That's what I sounded like. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. So, yeah. Let's crack on, shall we? Never mind. Never mind indeed. Oh dear, dear, dear. Not even sure where to go from here. You know when you lose your train of thought and it just runs away. Literally just runs away. Oh dear. I'll get there in a minute. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Cracking on. This week's drawing, we are continuing on with the Martian Vegeta theme, obviously. I went a bit mad this week. I've created 4 drawings, sketch, ink, and 2 colours for you. So if you make it to the end, about 5-minute markers, this is a bit of a short one today, you will get to see something a bit funky. Well, I'll say funky, but something a bit more closer to, I don't know. I had a bit of fun with it. I went a bit mad. What I wanted to do was, my main raspberries. The main thing I wanted to do this week was to try and carry on from what I did last week, where I inked and then put color over the top of it. I want to try that again, but this time rather than using the Copic multi-liners, I was going to use the pigma microns, which I did and have done. And yeah, it worked out okay. First cock up, I put a really too much dark grey down on the hair, which meant any yellow I put down was a little bit darker than usual. And then on top of that, the Winsor & Newton paper doesn't really absorb the ink that quickly, even though in some cases I did wait for quite a while for the micron ink to dry. It still stayed wet for a very long time, and thus some of my colors, when I say some, I mean my skin tones, unfortunately kind of got a bit ruined in the process. They slightly got darker as I go across the page, where I'm just picking up all the black ink. And yeah, pro tip, put your dark colors down last. i.e. you're inking. You can do your outlines fine, just, you know, that's not a problem. But if you're going over large areas of ink like I have done here, I would recommend that you put that ink down last. Now unfortunately I made a bit of a boo-boo, and that boo-boo was I didn't plug my phone in while I'm recording this. Luckily, I was doing this live on Twitch, so I managed to have that part of the recording, but it is slightly lower quality, unfortunately, because webcam, not greatest. I don't actually have a camera to, create really nice crisp images, so webcam quality is just for the next couple of minutes or so. But you get to see the end of it. I have a bit of fun adding more blacks into this, and I really like how this one turned out. So I sat there for a couple of days just sort of looking at it and thinking to myself, I like how I've shaded this. Let's go one step further. So what I did was I wanted to obviously mess about with some more shading, but I also wanted to see how I managed to get it as close to the original as I could. So I brought the original up on a screen and just traced over it, essentially. So all the proportions were right, because I'm bad at proportions, and I wanted to compare the two side by side. Now, I cocked this one up. Not so much in the proportions or anything like that. They're fine. The line work is fine on this. It's Because it's like for like. It's a tracing. How can you cock up a tracing? Believe me, it's possible. No, what I cock up here is the stages on how you really should layer your colours and your inking and your pencils. If you're going to map out with a pencil, use a light pencil, i.e. a H or a HB, which I've done in the past, and it's fine. It works fine. It can be covered over with the alcohol markers. But if you are like me and you forget that you are sketching with a 2B pencil, that is a lot more difficult to cover. So I realized what I've done after I've put the yellow down, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what can we do here? Okay, I need to try and cover this as best I can. Let's try and mimic the dark, like the deep blacks in the game, the mobile game Dragon Ball Legends, and some of the artwork on there is absolutely fantastic. I love the dark tones that they put in the characters in there, and they use a lot of blacks in them as well. And I figured I want to give that a try. I want to give that a go. So I lay down my blacks, and I have quite a bit of fun with it, to be honest, because I just put it anywhere I see fit. I went a bit nuts. Don't even know why I put that bit on the cheek there, but hey, I think it looks kind of cool, to be fair. It's different, and there's nothing wrong with taking something that you've made a mistake with, i.e. layering, and then just having fun with it, because you may find that you create something absolutely phenomenal. You never know. So don't give up. Just keep going. So I try to add more layers into this as best I can, trying to cover up those pencil lines by adding multiple layers in, more shades. Because what my train of thought was, well, if I take the darker tones that I've laid down and make those black, and then replace the other tones with the darker ones. So it's like I'm sort of like moving the scale to one side. So the dark tones come black. The next shade up for that would be the dark tones just covered up, and so on and so forth. And you know what? It came out okay, to be honest. As you can see side by side, the original from the series compared to mine, my proportions are way off, especially on the shoulder and the chest. They are nowhere near as close as they are, and my head shape is very, very different. I would say it's a lot smaller than the original, but I've managed to keep it all proportionate. Is that a word? I don't know. I've just made up a word. The proportions on the head are all very, you know, they don't look wrong in the slightest. But I'm nowhere near the original. But if I had to take something away from this, I do like my expression more. Although, you know, there is definitely room for improvements, without a doubt. I'm glad I did trace it though, because like I say, it gives you that muscle memory. Like, I know from that perspective that, you know, he's got bigger shoulders than what I gave him. I don't think anyone should ever feel ashamed of tracing over characters they like, because it's great practice on getting that muscle memory on, you know, proportions and shapes and so on and so forth. I haven't noticed any improvement over the last 6 months when it comes to proportions, but I have on my expressions, and I'm okay with that. Can't become a master overnight. Although the one that I traced over, I took liberties with it and just had fun with the colouring in. The one that I did on stream, like my version, how would I do it differently? Like I said earlier on, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to go with sort of the rough lines in the shading areas, do them last. Seriously, do them last, because otherwise you're going to end up doing what I've done, and that's ruin pens. And you don't want to do that. You do not want to go over any blacks with your markers. You're going to ruin them. You might be able to salvage them, but unfortunately, at this current moment in time, my skin tones are still coming out pretty dark. So I don't know if that's sort of the end of that for them. But hey ho, you live and learn, don't you? So yeah, I mean there are things from both of them that I really like. Obviously, I prefer the original because, you know, I like it, but I kind of like my mouth on mine. Kind of like the mouth on mine. Now, if I can actually get that perfect and get proportions right, then I think I'm onto a bit of a winner here, somewhere along the lines. What do you guys think? Comparing the two here at the end. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Sorry that I sound a bit like there right now, because like I said, I've had to record this 5 times now and I'm just sort of running out of things to say without feeling like I'm repeating myself. Oh, never mind. I'll be back with another one very soon. Let me know what you guys thought of this one. Leave comments, likes, subscribes, bell notification thingies and all that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Go out there and create something awesome. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.